Welcome to episode 7 of Office Hours, where we break down a little deeper discussion on the topics covered in our Discord room. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go.
Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time, we're going to be taking all your source material about AI and chatbots and kind of figuring out how to make this stuff work for us in our daily lives.
Yeah, exactly. Like how to get this tech to work for you, not against you.
Really. And you know, one of the things that came up over and over again in these sources was this idea of clearing your cache. And I got to admit, I'm so guilty of just ignoring those little pop-ups.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But it turns out it's not just about like speeding up your browser or whatever.
Yeah.
It can actually really mess with how well those AI chatbots work, especially on certain websites.
Yeah, that's totally true. It's like, think about it this way. Every time you visit a website, your browser, it's like, it's taking notes.
Yeah.
You know, it's storing bits of information like images and scripts and even passwords and stuff.
Oh, like digital breadcrumbs.
Exactly. It's like a digital footprint. But the thing is, over time, all that stuff can build up and it can start to cause problems that, you know, especially with AI, because AI relies on having the most up-to-date information to like give you accurate responses.
Okay, that makes total sense. I'm starting to see why this is important, but I still have this like little voice in my head that's like, but what if I clear my cache and I lose all my saved passwords? You know? Or like, what if it messes up my whole workflow? And is there a smarter way to approach this, like a less nuclear option?
Totally. You don't have to go crazy and clear everything out. Just be strategic about it. Focus on the websites where you're actually interacting with AI or like where you're having issues, you know? For example, if a chatbot on a specific website isn't working properly, clearing your cache just for that site can often fix it.
So it's more like a targeted cleanup than a complete system reboot.
Exactly.
It's like how businesses do those strategic pivots. You know, you make these small adjustments instead of like blowing up the whole company.
I like that analogy. Yeah, it's all about making those targeted improvements. And you know what? Speaking of targeted improvements, let's talk about using polls inside your chatbots because they can be such an awesome way to gather information and even generate leads. But you got to be careful.
Yeah, I've seen those polls in chatbots, and sometimes they feel kind of pushy, you know, like a salesperson just interrupting a conversation.
Right. And nobody wants that. So how do we make sure our polls feel more natural, more helpful, you know, like part of the conversation?
Yeah. How do we not be that annoying salesperson?
Well, one of your sources actually had a really good example. They were talking about the real estate industry. And instead of asking something like, what service are you interested in? Which sounds super salesy, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
they recommend asking, what's your biggest obstacle when buying a home?
Oh, that's so much better. It actually invites like a real response,
Yeah,
you know, like it helps the user kind of articulate what they're struggling with.
exactly.
And I bet you could apply that same principle to any industry, right?
Absolutely. Like, let's say you have an e-commerce store. Instead of asking, what would you like to buy today? Which, again, is very direct. You know,
Very salesy.
you could ask something like, what type of products are you most interested in right now? It's subtle, but it makes a huge difference.
It feels more like you're trying to be helpful than just trying to make a sale.
Exactly. And the best part is you can take all those poll responses and feed them right into your CRM or even just like a Google Sheet.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, so no more like manually transferring data or anything like that. It's all automated.
Love that. And you know what? Speaking of gathering data and understanding your audience,
Yeah.
let's talk about a platform where a lot of us are constantly trying to like crack the code. YouTube.
Oh yeah, the YouTube algorithm, it's a beast.
It really is. It feels like a constant uphill battle sometimes.
It does, but one of the things that your sources really emphasized was that chasing trends on YouTube, it can actually backfire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not about just copying what everyone else is doing. It's about understanding your audience and what they actually respond to.
So where do we even start with that? Is it all about diving into those YouTube analytics and like trying to decipher all those crazy numbers?
Well, analytics are definitely important, but let's try to make this a little more practical, you know? Remember that article you sent me about thumbnail design? It showed how consistently videos with minimalist thumbnails do better than those with like those big, bold outlines.
You know what? That's so interesting because I've been so focused on making my thumbnails eye-catching, you know, like trying to stand out in the feed that I haven't even really considered a more subtle approach.
And that's the cool thing about data, right? It can help us challenge our assumptions and uncover those hidden patterns.
I'm totally inspired. I'm going to go do a full audit of my YouTube channel.
I love it. And remember that same principle applies to other parts of your YouTube strategy too. Don't be afraid to experiment with different video formats, you know, different lengths, different posting schedules, even YouTube shorts. Those can be a great way to test out new ideas and see what sticks.
Oh, I'm making notes. Experiment, analyze, and don't be afraid to pivot. Got it.
Well, you got it.
Now let's talk about a tool that can help us streamline our workflow and maybe avoid some of those scheduling headaches. Calendly.
Oh yeah, Calendly's great.
But I've heard that integrating it can sometimes be more trouble than it's worth. You know, like you have to deal with API limits and all this technical stuff.
Yeah, and that's where Chatbot Builder's built-in calendar feature comes in. It's so much simpler.
Oh, tell me more.
You get a really nice, user-friendly experience, AI-powered scheduling suggestions, and it's all right there in one platform, so you don't have to juggle a bunch of different subscriptions or worry about those API limits.
That sounds like a dream, honestly, as someone who hates having a million different apps and tabs open all the time.
It's a game changer, and the best part is you keep all your data and your processes under your control. You're not relying on a third-party tool that could change their pricing or features whenever they want.
Right, it's about owning your tech stack and simplifying your workflow. Love it.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something that's super important for creating those truly smart and engaging AI agents. Knowledge bases.
Oh yeah, knowledge bases.
I'm fascinated by this, but I have to admit I'm not really sure where to even begin with them.
Well, one of your sources, Ryan, he has this fantastic method. He calls it the 5 Ps.
5 Ps.
Yeah, it stands for profile purpose, people persistence, and prompts.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
So imagine your AI chatbot is having a full-on identity crisis because its profile is all over the place.
Okay, I'm picturing it now.
It's like, am I a friendly helper or am I like a sassy know-it-all?
That's hilarious. Okay, so profile, that's all about defining the AI's personality and brand voice.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
purpose that clarifies what its mission is, Is it customer service, lead generation, something else entirely?
Okay, that makes sense. And what about people?
That's a big one because it reminds us that we're not just building AI for the sake of building AI, we're building it for humans, right?
Of course.
So we have to tailor the AI's responses to different audiences, We wouldn't use the same language and tone with a CEO that we would with a college student.
Totally different vibes.
Exactly. And then we have persistence. This is all about keeping the AI's messages really concise and to the point because nobody wants to read a novel in a chatbot window.
Right, it's all about brevity.
Exactly. And finally, we have prompts, which are like the heart and soul of the knowledge base. These are the specific questions, instructions, examples, all the stuff we feed the AI to help it understand how to respond in different situations.
So it's not just about dumping a ton of information into the AI. It's about carefully crafting those prompts to teach it how to think.
Exactly. And the more detailed and specific our prompts are, the smarter and more nuanced our AI is going to be.
It's like training a new employee, but instead of a human, it's a digital brain.
That's a great way to put it. And just like with a well-trained employee, a well-structured knowledge base can handle all sorts of tasks and even anticipate what people need. But you know what? Before we go too far down that AI rabbit hole, we need to talk about something a little more fundamental. Workflow optimization.
Okay, back to basics.
Back to basics, and it all starts with those good old-fashioned standard operating procedures, or SOPs.
Ah, yes, SOPs. They may not be as flashy as AI, but they're the foundation of any efficient business.
Couldn't agree more. It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint. It's just asking for trouble.
Right, chaos.
Total chaos. SOPs are your blueprints for success. They help you break down complex processes into repeatable steps, and that makes it way easier to spot areas where you can improve things and, most importantly, where you can automate things.
I always tell my clients, show me your SOPs and I'll show you your business.
Yeah.
Because even if it's not formally written down, every business has a way of doing things, a certain flow to their operations, and you got to understand that flow before you can even think about automating anything.
I love that. And it's not just about throwing AI at a problem, it's about really understanding the problem, the steps involved, and then figuring out where AI can actually make a difference.
Right, the right tool for the right job.
Exactly. But even with the best SOPs and the smartest automation, things can still go wrong. And that's why we need to talk about troubleshooting.
Okay, let's get into it. Troubleshooting time.
Troubleshooting time. It's like being a detective,
Ooh, I like that analogy. So where do we start our investigation when things go wrong with our bots or automations?
One of the simplest but most powerful tips is to always start at the beginning. It sounds obvious, but it's amazing how often we jump right into the middle of a problem without taking a step back and looking at the whole picture.
It's like trying to solve a maze from the middle instead of starting at the entrance.
Exactly. And this applies to everything from troubleshooting a chatbot glitch to figuring out why a lead isn't flowing through your automation correctly. Trace it back to the source, step by step.
And I'm guessing documentation is super important here, right? Like, even if it's just quick notes, having a record of each step in the process can be a lifesaver when you need to retrace your steps.
It's essential. Documentation is your detective's notebook. It helps you track your progress, identify patterns, remember what you've already tried,
It keeps you organized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this actually ties back to those SOPs we were talking about earlier. A well-defined troubleshooting SOP can be invaluable. It's like having a checklist of things to check and steps to take when something goes wrong.
Takes the guesswork out of it.
Exactly. But remember, even with the best SOPs and documentation, troubleshooting can still feel overwhelming sometimes. That's why it's important to break down the problem into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay, so instead of trying to fix everything at once, we need to isolate the issue and focus on one thing at a time.
Exactly. One of your sources called this the change one thing at a time rule. And it's so tempting to try to fix multiple things at once, especially when you're feeling frustrated. But that often just creates more problems than it solves.
Oh, I've been there. I get it.
We've all been there. But trust me, a methodical approach is much more effective. Change one variable test, it observe the results, and then move on to the next. This way you can pinpoint exactly what's causing the problem and avoid creating unnecessary complications.
It's like being a scientist, You have to control the variables to get reliable results.
Exactly. And speaking of scientists, we've been talking a lot about AI and automation, but I think it's important to remember that technology is not a replacement for human connection, especially in business.
Yeah, that's a great point. We can't forget the human element.
Exactly. One of your articles actually talked about the importance of finding that balance between automation and personalization. AI is a powerful tool, but it can't replicate human empathy, intuition, emotional intelligence,
AI can't give you a hug.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
But seriously, AI is great at handling those routine tasks, the repetitive processes. But when it comes to building relationships, understanding complex situations, providing genuine care, humans are still irreplaceable.
So it's about figuring out how to leverage the strengths of both AI and humans.
Exactly. AI is like a high-speed train that can get you from point A to point B quickly and efficiently. But sometimes you need the flexibility and the personalized attention of a car to really explore the side roads and connect with the scenery.
I love that analogy. So how do we find that sweet spot, that perfect balance between AI and the human touch?
It starts with recognizing what each side is good at. AI excels at tasks that are data-driven, repetitive, and predictable. Humans, on the other hand, thrive in situations that require creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence.
So it's all about playing to our strengths.
Exactly. Delegate the task that AI can handle more efficiently, but keep humans in the loop for those interactions that require a personal touch.
It's like having a team of virtual assistants working behind the scenes to streamline the process, but then having human agents ready to step in and provide that personalized care when it's needed.
Exactly. And this is where those SOPs we talked about earlier can be really helpful again. A clear escalation process outlined in your SOPs makes sure that customers who need human intervention are routed to the right person at the right time. So it's a seamless handover from bot to human.
It's all about creating a system that supports both your AI and your human team.
Exactly. But, I think it's important to acknowledge that even with the best intentions, integrating AI into our workflow can be challenging. There's often a learning curve, and it's easy to get caught up in the hype and expect miracles overnight.
Right? AI isn't a magic bullet.
It's not. It's a powerful tool, but it requires time, effort, and a strategic approach to implement effectively. It's more like a partnership,
I like that. We're working with AI, not expecting it to do all the work for us.
Exactly. And like any good partnership, it requires clear communication, shared goals, and a willingness to adapt and learn together.
I'm ready to learn.
Me too. And one of your sources actually stressed the importance of continuous learning in the AI world. The technology is constantly evolving, so staying up to date on the latest advancements and best practices is crucial.
And that makes me think of those office hours that Chatbot Builder hosts. They're such a great resource for learning and getting your questions answered.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the value of connecting with other AI enthusiasts and practitioners too. Whether it's online or at conferences or even just casual conversations, sharing knowledge and experiences can really accelerate your learning.
It's like tapping into the collective wisdom of the AI community. We're all on this journey together, figuring things out, experimenting, pushing the boundaries.
And that brings us to another important point, choosing the right tools and platforms. With so many options out there, it can be really tough to know where to start.
It's like walking into a giant tech store and being completely overwhelmed by all the choices.
Exactly. So the key is to start with a clear understanding of your goals and the problems you're trying to solve. Don't get caught up in the hype of the latest and greatest AI tool if it doesn't actually align with your needs.
So define your AI strategy before you even start shopping for tools.
Exactly. Ask yourself, what am I hoping to achieve with AI? Am I looking to automate customer service, generate content, analyze data? Once you have a clear vision, you can narrow down your options and choose tools that are designed to support your goals.
And this is where research comes in, right? Like reading reviews, comparing features, maybe even trying out free trials.
Absolutely. Treat it like any other important business decision. Gather information, weigh your options, and make an informed choice that aligns with your budget, your technical skills, and your long-term vision.
Don't just buy the first shiny object you see.
Exactly. And just like with any big purchase, don't be afraid to ask for help. There are so many resources available, from online communities to AI consultants who can provide guidance and support.
Right. It's about recognizing that we don't have to be AI experts to use this technology.
Exactly. There's a whole ecosystem out there to help us navigate this world.
And speaking of exciting new worlds, let's shift gears and talk about some of those real-world applications of AI. I mean, it's being used everywhere, from healthcare to finance to education. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. One of your sources had a really interesting article about how AI is being used in healthcare to develop personalized learning plans for students.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it can also tailor medical treatments to individual patients and even predict stock market trends.
Possibilities are pretty much endless.
They really are, and the most exciting part is that we're just getting started. As AI continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more innovative and impactful applications emerge.
It's like we're standing on the edge of a whole new era.
A world where AI is seamlessly integrated into our lives, helping us solve complex problems, unlock new levels of efficiency, and create a more sustainable and equitable future.
It's a future full of possibilities, and it's up to us to shape it responsibly and ethically.
That's a great point. We need to make sure that AI is used to benefit humanity as a whole, not just a select few.
Right, it's a powerful technology, and we need to be mindful of how we develop and use it.
And shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about another area where AI is making a big impact, the workplace. One of your sources had a great article about how AI is automating all those repetitive tasks, which frees up human workers to focus on more creative and strategic work.
Oh yeah, this is something I'm really fascinated by. We always hear about how robots are going to take our jobs, but I actually think AI has the potential to make our jobs better, not replace us entirely.
I completely agree. AI can take care of those tedious tasks that drain our energy and creativity, like data entry, scheduling, even some customer service stuff. This lets us humans focus on things that require our unique skills, like problem solving, critical thinking, building relationships.
It's like having a whole team of virtual assistants doing the busy work, so we can focus on the bigger picture and the things that require a human touch.
Yeah, exactly. And the shift toward AI-assisted work, it's not just about efficiency. It's also about creating more fulfilling and engaging work experiences, When we're not bogged down by repetitive tasks, we have more time and energy to focus on work that's actually meaningful and challenging.
It's about finding that sweet spot where AI and human intelligence work together to create something truly amazing, something that neither can do alone.
I like that. And now let's talk about the creative side of AI, something that I find both fascinating and a little bit intimidating. Have you seen those AI-generated artworks and listened to the AI-composed music?
I have, and it's pretty wild. Yeah. It's impressive, but it also makes you think.
It does. It's a little unsettling to see AI doing things that we've always considered uniquely human. But I think the key is to approach AI as a creative partner, not as a competitor.
So instead of being afraid of AI, we should see it as a tool that can inspire us, push us to be more creative, help us explore new ideas.
Exactly. Imagine an artist using AI to generate different versions of a painting, exploring new color palettes and textures and compositions that they might never have thought of on their own.
Or a musician using AI to create these crazy new sounds and melodies that push the boundaries of music.
It's like having a brainstorming partner that can come up with an endless stream of ideas.
It really is an exciting time to be creative with all these new tools at our disposal. As AI keeps evolving, who knows what kind of amazing things we'll be able to create.
I know, right? Imagine AI systems that can design personalized learning experiences for every student, or AI-powered tools that can translate languages instantly. It could completely change how we communicate and collaborate.
The possibilities are endless. But as with any powerful technology, we need to approach AI with a sense of responsibility and a commitment to ethical development. We need to make sure that it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. It's up to all of us to guide the development of AI in a direction that aligns with our values and aspirations. We need to be having open and honest conversations about the potential risks and benefits and work together to make sure it's used ethically and responsibly.
It's like we're all part of this huge experiment and the outcome is uncertain, but with careful planning, open dialogue, and a commitment to doing what's right, I think we can harness the power of AI to create a better future for everyone.
I agree. And to our listeners out there, I would say keep exploring the world of AI with curiosity and wonder, but don't forget to think critically too.
Ask questions, challenge assumptions, and think about the ethical implications of this incredible technology. The future of AI is not set in stone. It's something we're creating together.
So dive in, explore, experiment, and let's shape the future of AI together.
That wraps up another episode of Explore the Possibilities in AI, inspired by Office Hours, where we hold them in the Discord room with the CBB Nation co-creators, bouncing off ideas, bringing in strategies, and working on challenges that we come across in building out our AI solutions for clients. It's amazing where the conversation goes and what insights we gain from the discussions that we have. I hope this has been beneficial, and until next time, explore the possibilities. That wraps up another episode of Explore the Possibilities in AI, inspired by Office Hours, where we hold them in the Discord room with the CBB Nation co-creators, bouncing off ideas, bringing in strategies, and working on challenges that we come across in building out our AI solutions for clients. It's amazing where the conversation goes and what insights we gain from the discussions that we have. I hope this has been beneficial, and until next time, explore the possibilities. That wraps up another episode of Explore the Possibilities in AI, inspired by Office Hours, where we hold them in the Discord room with the CBB Nation co-creators, bouncing off ideas, bringing in strategies, and working on challenges that we come across in building out